Hello and welcome back to my channel. I'm Michelle Holden and this is Earth and Sky number 8. As you can see, I am showing you the various collage papers that I'm using for this piece, from magazines, old books. Those are some stencils that I might use, I might not. And here's some more pieces, collage papers that I've made. And now I'm going to start taping up the edges for that nice clean border. And while we're waiting for me to do that, on the left you can see the soft pastels. They're just student grade that I use. Also the watercolor soluble crayons. And I've got some Sharpie permanent, they're an oil base markers, paint markers. And then of course my trusty brayer on the right with some brushes. I use the golden tube paints, deco art, various colors, and some golden for this piece. In this piece I'm thinking blue. I want to start, I wanted something in blue and I wanted to explore the different types of blue, which is probably an endless pursuit, but we'll just keep at it. So I'm going to lay down just some marks at first, just to activate the substrate or the paper or whatever you're using. Okay, so yes, I love teal. This is the teal golden, and this is the catalyst where it spreads the paint really nicely. They're a catalyst product. You can get them at the art stores, and of course the name, I forget the name of those. Yes, Neocolor watercolor. So just grab what colors would feel good that day. Of course, I'm thinking blue. I don't know if I use the orange in this one or not. So just thinking, okay, where do I want the concentration mostly being? In the bottom, the top, the blue. And that's about all I'm thinking of. And then after I lay down some marks, I'll wet the paintbrush and just see how intense the colors are or not. And again, why I like using these to start with the brayer is that it dries really fast. So that orange or yellow, orange will muddy it up, but that's a really cool idea, really cool effect, I mean. So just a little dabbing, and this helps dry it even more quickly. So just pausing here and thinking, what do I want to do next? Okay, so the teal. So sometimes I'll add the white directly with the teal, which I know I'm going to do right here on the paper. Mix it right on there. And what I'm thinking is just a difference in value, less intense. And see how it reveals the marks underneath. You can still see them, but it's a really nice, very light value of veiling. The teal can be pretty strong, so lots of white can really make some really nice, very light blues. Okay, this is the Paynes Grey, one of my favorite darks because it's the most transparent or translucent blues, and it's in the cool range. And I'm just thinking horizontal areas, maybe some vertical areas will happen. Some violet, very dark. Oh, very nice. Underneath, it's also very transparent. Yeah, just making sure I, just subconsciously, oh yeah, see the shapes are way better, I feel, than just those brush stroke shapes. When the braille rolls over them, you just never know what's going to happen. Okay. Now, what am I grabbing? Let's see. So now it's time. I've laid enough layers, so now it's time for collage pieces. And I'm just going to move some around. Oh, nope, too soon. So I wanted some, I think harder edged lines. And what I'll do is I'll stencil this, and I think I go light. Yeah. And I'm just using a natural sponge. This one sponge that I use seems to do the best job, but you need to make sure it's pretty dry so you can get nice clean edges. But for this page, I'm, again, not thinking too much, not worrying about much. And yeah, so I wanted to push that purple layer back, and that's why I added that stencil layer. And here is a really interesting layer. I've just laid some color over some text pages. Nope, I didn't like it up there. I was right the first time. Okay, and then see, getting rid of that lighter value, sort of like a flashlight. And then I might roll that with my brayer. I don't know why I didn't, but looking at this video now, I should have. Oh, here we go. Just getting those edges down. And the imperfections that you'll find that you leave, it's great, because when you work fast, you go, oh, and then you don't have to worry about being so perfect. And I don't know if I ended up using that round shape or the open shape, but I'm really liking, so right now I'm wishing, oh, I really wish I didn't cut it, because it's sort of cool, but we'll see what I end up doing with it. The blue and just that really nice neutral, which is the upper half of this page. Okay, so thinking of those nice, long, wide, narrow areas. And of course your little knife, so you can just cut right along the edge of the tape, and then when you lift the tape off, it doesn't get bothered or lift. Now that little piece of blue, I make those, and it's a great way to explore different hues, different colors, and then you have a whole bunch of collage papers once they're dry. I'll be doing that again in the future. So here's that Titan buff, which is a wonderful way to push back the layers. I've learned now that rather than just covering up something you don't like, just push it back with something else, and it stays there and it becomes a history of the work. So this is this really cool text that I found, and I'm debating which side to use. Of course, I like the visual side, and it's a nice neutral, so it's a subtle subtlety that I'm looking for. Yeah. Everything about bridges. When you go and look for old texts, if you can find them cheap enough now that everybody's looking for these things, find images that you really relate to or you really want to communicate in your work. This is another, this is just newsprint paper, which I've rolled, or I think I've used my jelly plate for this one. And I'll be doing that in other videos in the future as well. And there's so much more of blue that I need to explore that I have not yet. So we're going to do that as well. So where does this little piece want to go? So I'm echoing the arch shape. And unfortunately, when I'm doing the voiceover right now, the recording little tool in my iMovie is right over where I'm working, and I just can barely see what I'm doing. But that's okay. So here's some more black and white images, which I love. And then you smear and just push it back a little bit, and then it fits into the area nicely. Oh, okay. Using the fingers and then the brayer. Oh, that's nice. Okay, so just pausing, thinking, but not too much. Oh, yes, that darker upper sky, if you want to call it. So I'm thinking of a middle value. Yeah, this is a really nice blue. And I find for journal pages, when you go into Michael's and get those little bottles, there's such a variety of colors and much less expensive than using the golden products for your art journaling. So as you can see, the quality of this piece improves the more layers you put on. If you don't have enough layers, it just won't have enough history to it. There's something about that. Oh yeah. So here's that open shape. The negative. Nice. I think I did that in the previous one as well, but I really like it. So if you like it, if it works, do it again. And this video I noticed too, I just took my time a little bit more. Sometimes I rush, and I enjoyed it a lot more. So there's this little numbers, symbols. I wanted it it wants to go over there on the left. So that's where it's going. It just needed to be a little more narrow, just so it could fit without pushing too much on the neutral shape next to it. Okay, thinking about pastels, thinking about line. What other marks could I put in there? What is calling to me? Oh, yes, that's a little magazine piece. I think it's Birds in Flight. And it just is the perfect blue. Various really light colored blues. Interesting. Oh, yes, that is nice. So you can grab pieces, move them around, and that's what's great about this kind of work, because you don't need to glue, you don't need to commit to anything until it just perfect. And you just find the spot and fix it down to the piece. I think what I'm doing is I'm looking through other collage pieces on the left. Sometimes a piece can be done before you oh, here we go. Black and white images. Oh, yes. That's right. So, still putting the stars aspect, but just abstractly. And just using some symmetry here. Adding really thin layers, so I'm just testing. I thought, no, too much. I don't mind circles, but the polka dots and some of the geometric shapes. Oh, here we go. As you can see, I'm just thinking, those did not speak to me. That's more collage paper that I've made with stencils, black and blue. Yes, that's the piece there. Those are fantastic tools, the white and the black. So I feel, yes, and just making little lines just to make the eye go around. And I think we're coming to the end of this piece very soon. And there's more black and white imagery. Just didn't need it. Some final little pieces. Yes. Maybe there. I'm not sure. Yes. And see how it fits there is because it's just a subtle difference. It's not a high contrast, but it's just another element to add. And you really need to make sure your paint is dry before you use the markers, or they just get ruined. Okay, yes, and I love my dots around in the circle. It just creates some energy. Carrying the eye around the top, but not overdoing it. At least I don't think so. And there it is. So I hope you enjoyed Of Earth and Sky number 8 in blue. Stay tuned for number 9, and don't forget to like and share.